Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Wedded Wednesdays here with Pastor David Wright and Lady Geneva Wright.
Yeah.
We're coming to you today to discuss
Submission.
the S word.
Oh, you don't know if we're going to call it the S word. But should a wife, this topic was given to us by someone who will remain nameless. But should a wife be submissive to her husband? It's in the vows that the preacher said to you at the altar. Obey your husband and all these different things in your vows. And when you say I do, you agree to be submissive to your husband. Now, let me deal with that submissive for some of y'all men out there that think you are a caveman. Submissive doesn't mean you rule with a stern iron fist or you have a slave. But what submissive means, that means your wife has to honor you and be obedient to the God in you. Not just she got to do what I say. No. It means you are the head of the household. That means no decision should be made without you. That means you're the head of the household and these things like that. And some women have a problem being submissive to a man that they chose, that they now feel is not worthy to submit to. That's out of order. You must be submissive to your husband. Above being submissive to any other man, I know you might have a boss, you might have a pastor. What your husband says supersedes all of that. You are to be submissive to your husband. And I know I got a lot of ladies say, I ain't submitting to him. He don't even work. Guess what? He probably didn't work when you married him. He probably wasn't working when you said I do. He probably wasn't working when y'all was in the bed together. And you still agreed to say I do, and you are now saying I don't want to be submissive. That don't make no sense. That makes no sense. And I say this to every person I encounter. Don't marry a man that you cannot submit to. Because now your marriage is out of order. It ain't make no sense for the woman to be the head of the household and the man got to submit to you. That's backwards. And if your house is out of order, God ain't going to bless that house. You can help me out now. Because I'm coming back. I'm coming back.
Now you want me to interject.
Yeah, interject. That's a big word, but I know what it means.
Do you?
Yeah, interject means you're going to put your 2 cents in.
Submission. Submission is something that a lot of us women have a problem with, adhering
Absolutely.
to. We have a serious problem with that word, submission. And a lot of times we don't like to hear submit. Submit to what? Why am I submitting to him? He disrespects me. He doesn't, he doesn't treat me right. He doesn't do what he's supposed to do within the home. What am I submitting to? That's the question, that a lot of married women tend to ask. But like you said, which was very, very true, you knew kind of what you were getting to, because I find it hard to believe that you didn't see this before you said I do. I find it hard to believe that he wasn't, becoming disrespectful, or he wasn't working, or you didn't see some type of signs from your significant other upon heading to the altar. But at the same time, even if he's doing that, even if he's dishonoring you, even if he's not working, even if he's disrespecting you, the word still stands. The word is the word. And the word tells us as wives to submit ourselves to our husbands.
Absolutely.
We have to submit, and that means we don't have the space to basically say, well, God, he's not doing this, he's not doing that, he's not doing this. It does not matter. His word is his word. And if that's what he requires for us wives to do, that's what we have to do. And we gotta trust. We gotta pray. It's hard to.
Okay,
listen,
here I'll come to you now.
It's hard to submit to a man, let alone a husband. It's hard to submit to someone that is just not easy to live with, easy to be with.
I'm gonna spill the beans because we're gonna keep it 100,000. She had a problem submitting to me.
I did. In the beginning, I did.
I think I know what it was because she's older than me.
Has nothing. See, here we go.
Oh yeah.
It has nothing to do with that. It
But
has nothing to do.
I don't know what it was, but
it was hard for me to submit to a man, like, because I've been doing things, like I said, I've been doing everything my own way. And so all of a sudden, now getting married and we're living together, and to change my way of living and my way of being to try to adjust to this thing called marriage and adjusting to this wife life, it was hard. It was hard for me, as it should have been,
right,
with someone living, me living on my own.
Well, when I married my wife, she was working 2 jobs. Huh?
Yeah, and going to school.
She was working 2 jobs, going to school, had her own car, paying her own bills and all that stuff. But then we got married, and now she has to
change my whole
change
mindset.
all that and be submissive. She can go whenever she wants. She can do whatever she wants. She can move around it. But now she has a husband that she has to submit to. And
it's hard.
Like she said, it was hard. And me coming from the household that I came from, I was used to my mom submitting to my dad because he was, breadwinner. But again, when I came into the picture, when I was a kid, they had already been married almost 10 years. So the submission thing that I saw, I didn't see them growing into that. I saw it already established. So I'm looking like, wow, my wife should submit to me. Do what I say, woman. And it didn't work like that.
No, it didn't.
But so submission, it'll take a while, but your mind has to be geared toward that.
Yeah.
And if it's not, then maybe you're not a wife. Because a wife is trying to gear herself towards submitting to her husband. Yeah. She's trying to submit to her husband. But if you are that stubborn wife that feels like the man that you married isn't worth you submitting to, then maybe you didn't marry the right man. Maybe you didn't marry a husband. Maybe you married somebody that you can control. There's a lot of women out here that want to control their husband. Yeah. You better loose here with that spirit. That's a Jezebel spirit, and I bind it up. Jezebel ain't about no red lipstick. Ain't about no short skirts and short dresses. It's about the spirit of influence and the spirit of control. And there's a lot of Jezebels out there that want to control their husbands. They want their husbands to submit to them. Yeah. And it's a lot of that going on, especially in our churches. Can I talk about it? Because in our churches, the men are taking a step back, some of our churches, and the women are taking a step forward. And the women are in the forefront. You got women bishops now. We ain't going to bother with it too much, but I just know what the Bible says. And you got women in power positions in the church. I don't care what your powerful position is in your church, in your house. If you have a husband, you ought to submit to that husband. You ought to be obedient to that husband. And prayerfully, you pick the right husband that believes the same word of God that you do. And if your husband is a believer, if he's a Christian, I realize that this is Wedded Wednesday, so it's not just all for church people. Right, but if your husband is a Christian and you are a Christian, you can have confidence in knowing that you are trusting the God in your husband. Mm-hmm. You're trusting the God that resides in your husband, and you know that God is not going to give your husband direction on the family, that he's not going to consider the whole family. Yeah. So it's easy to submit for somebody that already believe in the God that you serve. So that's a whole separate issue, but just straight vows. Yeah. You are to submit and honor your husband, and the husband has some duties too. The husband ain't supposed to just be a tyrant. Can't be no John Bobbitt, because if you end up like John Bobbitt, Lorena Bobbitt been sliced you up. Amen. You have a sausage party on the side of the road. But again, it's important that that wives are submissive to their husband.
Absolutely. That was good. That was very good. And I like to look at it as me submitting myself to you is me submitting myself to God. Me honoring God by honoring and obeying His word.
I like that.
Yeah, I know you do. That's how I look at it. And it did not happen for me overnight. It took some time. It took some years.
Yeah.
I want to say maybe the first part of our marriage, I struggled
about
with that.
12 years.
Well, you say 12. I don't know, but I did
13.
struggle. I struggled with being submissive, but when I humbled myself and came up under the subjection of what God's word required me as a wife to be to my husband, I noticed a big change. I started to notice a difference in my marriage and within my relationship because I was being obedient to God's word. And when we are obedient to God's word, God can bless us in the midst of being our submissiveness to our husbands.
And one last thing, a lot of times, and this is just me, but a lot of things she would want to do, and I don't think we should do. But in her submission, I find myself doing it anyway, and she still get her way. I don't understand how to figure that out. I don't know if she got that mojo out.
Method, ladies.
She can say something, and I'm like, no, we don't need to do that. Then I come around, and next thing you know, I've been on did it.
Yeah.
This wasn't even part of my plan. But I find myself doing it anyway because just to make my wife happy. And they say happy wife, happy life. And as long as I can put a smile on my wife's face, then I know she'll continue to be the wife that God called her to be. Not the wife that I called her to be, but be the wife that God called her to be. And remember, we didn't put the requirements on here. The Bible did.
Yes.
So a husband is supposed to be what God said, not what the wife said. The husband is supposed to be what God said. Yes. And the wife is supposed to be what God said, not what I say, but what God said. And when she's doing what God said, nothing will be held back from her. And when I'm doing what God said, nothing will be held back from me.
Yeah. So to a lot of you, ladies out there, a lot of times they're withholding from their spouses because they're not happy with who their spouses are not becoming. They feel like their spouses should be some a little bit further. They feel like their spouses should be, this way, or they feel like their spouses should. I'll even go a little bit deeper. I wish you was more like such and such husband. He does this. That comparison spirit. The devil is a liar. Y'all gotta watch this, because what y'all sometimes we're feeding off and you're looking at from the outside, but you don't know what Sister Trish and Brother Eric or whoever, I'm just naming names, I don't know. You don't know what they're dealing with behind closed doors. You got to be careful of this comparison spirit and saying, well, I wish my husband was more like Brother Eric, or I wish my wife was more like Sister Trish. The devil is a liar. The devil is a liar.
And there's no place to ever hit your spouse. But you compare your spouse to keep comparing them to people, you're gonna get body slammed. You ain't gonna get hit. You might get body slammed, but don't compare. I wish you was like such and such.
No, right.
What you mean? So if you wish I was like such and such, why don't you marry such and such?
How about that?
What's wrong with you?
Yeah, but people do that for real.
Really?
Yeah, it's folks do that crazy stuff like that for real. Let me tell you, wives, you go about being the best wife that you can be to your husband. I don't care if he's not doing what you feel like he should be doing, if he's not acting the way that you feel like he should be acting towards you. You keep being the best wife that you can be. You do what you know to do, even if he's not doing it. You keep showing love. You keep acting.
What if the wife makes more? Because a lot of folks don't want to deal with this. We deal with this. What if the wife make more money than the husband? Do I still gotta submit to him?
Yes,
and I'm paying all the bills. Do I still gotta do this? And I'm paying all. Yeah, you gotta submit.
Yeah.
But that's why a lot of women got a problem. That's why Oprah and Stedman didn't work out. Because Oprah had, I'm gonna tell her, Oprah had all that money, and she said, I ain't gotta listen to no Stedman. So that's why Oprah and Stedman didn't get their stuff together. But still, it don't matter how much money you make.
Don't matter.
The Bible never spoke of, if you're a wife and you make more money, then you don't have to submit. No, you are a wife and you married a husband.
Yeah.
So you got to submit to that husband no matter what the circumstances are.
You still have to.
You have to submit to that husband.
That's
your covering.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't care how much money you making. I don't care how much money he ain't making. He's still, well, that's my money. Oh, you better listen here.
Yeah.
And Oprah gonna stay singing. Listen to me, Oprah. You hear me?
Cut it out.
No, I'm gonna talk to her. You see, she fell the other day.
John, you're acting.
No.
Ungodly.
I'm gonna talk to Oprah,
But this
you
is
ain't
not-
more
this is
than
not
likely,
about Oprah.
but I want Oprah to get married and have a good marriage.
Well, you can't. If that's something that she does not want, you cannot thrust that upon her.
What
but
woman?
anyway,
No,
this is not about Oprah. We're not making this about Oprah. We
right,
want to stick to what we're talking about here with this submission thing, because a lot of women, a lot of these women are failing in their marriages. They're failing their roles as being a wife. They're failing by being disobedient to what the requirements that God has left in place for us to be as wives.
Absolutely.
We have to go back and get ourselves in position and be obedient to God first. God has given us instructions as wives to be submissive to our husbands. Period.
Yes.
Period. It doesn't not matter. We can throw how many excuses on the table as we want to throw. But guess what? God is not, he's not going to hear that, because he has left guidelines. There are instructions that he has left for us as wives to abide by. And we have to get in our rightful places as wives. I don't care. Look, we're in it. Period. We're already in it. Now it is our responsibility, especially as women of God, to submit ourselves first to God. Turn over all of that other garbage. It does not matter. I don't care what he's not doing. I don't care what you're unhappy with. You deal with you. You make sure that you are creating the right space and the right atmosphere within your home to continue to do what you have been called to do as being a wife. I don't care. It just does not matter. We got to stop throwing these excuses out on the table.
Yeah.
And let's just be real and honest. You keep loving them. You keep doing what you're doing in the home. You keep, going about your day to day and making sure that your home is a place of peace.
Absolutely.
That's how we have to do this thing. And I promise you that he will come around. Because if you're honoring God's word and you're honoring the guidelines and the instructions that he has left for you to do and for you to be as a wife, I promise you, God will see it, he will honor it, and change will be provoked in your husband's life. And before you know it, you'll start seeing a big difference and a big change. Why? Not because of the things that he wasn't doing. Why? Because you were obedient to God's word.
That's right. And again, you can't change that man. You can't change that woman.
No.
All you can do is change yourself. And when you do that, you'll see the change in them.
Yeah.
All right. This has been another episode of Wedded Wednesdays. We've been talking about submission. And I'm telling you, you got to stay tuned to all of the different episodes that we got coming up.
Yeah.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel and also Follow us on Instagram at Wedded Wednesdays. You can spell it. It's right here on the shirt. Amen.
Wedded Wednesdays.
At Wedded Wednesdays. And you can also follow us on Facebook.
And please, please, please do not forget to share your feedback with us. Down below in the comment section, please comment. Give us ideas if you have any questions that you would like to ask us. Listen, we're here to help shed light on whatever, questions that you may have for us. Down in the comment section below, leave your questions and we'll love to maybe air it on one of our Wedded Wednesday episodes.
Yes. God bless you. Peace. Love y'all.